This terrible incident that happened at the intersection of the Trans-Canada Highway and Highway 5 just outside of Carberry, Manitoba, that they have now told us, police say 15 people are dead, 10 people are in hospital. The RCMP has taken over the investigation and are looking into the events surrounding this difficult and terrible and tragic event. The CBC's Sarah Galashan has been listening in on this briefing with me, and she joins us now. So Sarah, a lot of grim news there, a lot of grim information. What stands out for you?
Well, that we are dealing with what we had started to suspect was the case, but a large van, a large passenger van carrying approximately 25 people, and what we're told is that the majority of them are senior citizens, some of them still alive. The approximate number, 25, 10 of them in hospital, as you say, 15 of them have died. And what stands out, I think, for anyone who's listening in that area is the fact that there are still family members who've yet to be notified because they are taking pains to be very careful, working with medical investigators to be sure of the identity before they are notifying the next of kin. And they have set up shop in the basement of a Lutheran church in Dauphin, which is where that is where the majority of the passengers on that bus were from, that area and the surrounding area. From the major crimes, who we heard from there, this investigation, the fact that they are looking to the expertise of fellow RCMP in Saskatchewan who sadly have experience investigating horrific crashes like this one. When you talk about Humboldt, where there were 16 died in that crash, the majority of them young hockey players. What they said here is that this semi-truck was moving on Highway 1, and then there was the bus, the large passenger van, attempting to cross on that highway. They will not say whether or not stop signs, any signage there was obeyed, but I will say that our reporter on the ground observing that a stop sign there had been taken out. That was one of the first notes sent in from our reporters who made it to the scene. They also said they are not, at this point, going to be methodical in their investigation and not ruling out any wrongdoing or the fact that there could be criminal element. As far as where, David, this van was going, you heard one reporter, and I don't know if you could hear them, but they were asking, was the destination the Sandhills Casino, which is just outside of Carberry, Manitoba. And we have it confirmed from the Sandhills Casino that in fact that was the destination. And if you look on the map, you'll see that this casino, they couldn't have been more than about 15 minutes away from that destination when this horrific crash took place. So,
Sarah, I wonder if you can just give me a little bit of clarification on what you said about the stop sign and the note from the reporter on the scene. Because I'm looking, when they gave us the intersection and everything, and you start looking at it on Google Maps and Google Street View, and you do see Highway 5, which runs south, where this passenger bus with the 25 people on it, there is a stop sign there, or there was a stop sign there, versus, say, the Trans-Canada Highway, which the semi was on going east to west. You say it's been taken out. Does that mean it was removed? What does that mean exactly? Do you know?
We don't know. I only know from the reporter notes that are coming to us that it's not there. How is that? There is a stop sign. Not there. But beyond that, and I mean, that's obviously going to be, David, really crucial to the investigation as to what happened here. The thing that they have working for them in their favor in terms of this investigation is that at this point, the two drivers in this, they both are alive. And so they will be able to, presumably at some point, if they haven't already, be able to speak to those drivers and trying to determine exactly where, if there is fault, where that fault might lie.
Okay, a few more details we can add, Sarah, just based on this. It was 11:43 this morning, Manitoba time, that the RCMP was dispatched to the collision, the eastbound semi-trailer truck colliding with the southbound bus. It was the Rob Lawson, the superintendent from the RCMP, saying it was immediately clear this was a mass casualty situation. As you say, not all family members have been notified, because when you're dealing a scene that is this catastrophic, the identification is going to be fraught with challenges, and they want to make sure that they have everything done before they inform the family members. There is an assistance center set up in Dauphin at the Basement Church at 2 Kirby Avenue in East Dauphin, if you're in the area. The phone number for family members only is 204-647-5058. Sarah, we also have a statement from Day and Ross. That is the company, the semi-truck trailers from Day & Ross. And what they're saying is all of us at Day & Ross are heartbroken by the tragic news out of Manitoba this afternoon. The thoughts of the entire Day & Ross team are with those who have lost loved ones in this terrible incident, and we are holding out hope that those injured will recover. At this time, we have limited details from the scene and will not have any further comment until more is known, and we will fully cooperate with the investigation and offer any assistance and support that we can. So Sarah, that's the latest from Day & Ross there. The challenges ahead, you touched on it earlier, they're leaning on the experience in Saskatchewan from Humboldt. Some of the challenges that they have to deal with to finding out exactly what happened here.
I mean, sadly, there is significant experience on the part of those investigators who did investigate. They did find. I mean, the driver in that case did plead guilty. Is now actually arguing against possible deportation in that particular case. One thing I would mention as well. I mean, we talk about the fact that there are 10 survivors at this point in this horrific crash, but there are significant injuries, and that was mentioned that these are people who have suffered primarily the majority of the issues, head injuries and orthopedic injuries. And if we're talking about the majority of the people on board that bus being seniors, there's going to be some significant challenges even for those, David, who have survived.
Yeah, that struck out at me. Head injuries and orthopedic in nature, meaning joints and muscles and bones. We have a lot of political reaction to this, Sarah. I've got some tweets I think we can show. Reaction from Manitoba Premier Heather Stephenson in particular. The Deputy Premier Cliff Cullen read a version of this when he was there, saying that she tweets, "Our hearts are broken and our thoughts are with the families and loved ones of all the lives impacted by this horrific and devastating tragedy near the town of Carberry. I know our dedicated first responders and healthcare workers are doing all they can to assist. I want to thank them on behalf of all Manitobans." The Prime Minister, as he does in these moments, has also weighed in. He's sent a tweet saying, "The news from Carberry, Manitoba is incredibly tragic. I'm sending my deepest condolences to those who lost loved ones today, and I'm keeping the injured in my thoughts. I cannot imagine the pain those affected are feeling, but Canadians are here for you." We've heard from Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, who says, "My heart is broken to hear of the victims in the horrific crash near Carberry, Manitoba earlier today. Thank you to the police, firefighters, and ambulances on the scene helping people at this tragic time." And a similar message from NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, who writes that devastating news of a collision on the Trans-Canada Highway in Manitoba where at least 15 people were killed. I'm sending my deepest condolences to the families of the victims. Thank you to the emergency crews who are currently responding to the crash. So Sarah, the investigators obviously doing their work, the immediate medical treatment of the 10 or so survivors, obviously the urgent focus of the healthcare system, investigators going to the scene or at the scene, trying to reconstruct what happened, but a caution there from investigators for family members who may want answers to stay away. To call the numbers, not go there, and not get involved in what's happening at the intersection of the Trans-Canada Highway and Highway 5.
And David, that it be only the family members that call that phone number that they put out there, that number is set up specifically for them, and that they're very concerned about the fact that there are these families that would have known that their loved ones were on board this large passenger van heading to, as we have confirmed, the Sandhills Casino just outside of Carberry. One person, the one entity here that I think have not heard from in terms of offering condolences or offering shock at what has happened here, frankly, is the operator of that large, what was described initially by fire department in Brandon as a handy transit, an accessible vehicle for those who couldn't maybe take other transportation. We don't know. We know the destination from the casino was, and if you look at the map, was the casino, and that they were almost there. If you look at the map, and if you do look, and they're from the Dauphin area, you can see that they were probably. It looks to be about a 2-hour drive, and as I say, they were just very shortly to the destination. So unclear a little bit as to exactly what this van was and how it was made up and who was responsible for it.
But I think what seems pretty clear, and I'm not getting ahead of ourselves, and I'm not speculating wildly on the cause or what happened, but this appears to be a bus of seniors. This casino offers bus tours that brings people there. They appear to be on a day trip towards the Sandhills Casino, as you called it. They were traveling south on Highway 5, and there was a collision with a Day & Ross semi-trailer truck. on the Trans-Canada Highway. The latest numbers we have from the RCMP, 15 dead, 10 people in hospital with severe head injuries and orthopedic injuries. Both drivers are alive and being treated in hospital. The RCMP has taken over control of the investigation, and they've set up an assistance center in Dauphin for people. This is where most of the seniors were from. It's at the basement of the church at 2 Kirby Avenue in East Dauphin. This is for family members only. The phone number to call for help is 204-647-5058. Sarah, I think we're going to let you go. I want to thank you for navigating this one with us. These are always tough stories to cover. And we appreciate you taking the time, and we'll bring you back if there are any further details. That's the CBC's Sarah Galashan joining us tonight.